Welcome, guys, to Running My Journey. I am your host, Dan, from sparetirerunning.com. You can find me on Instagram at spare_tire_running. That's where I mainly live these days on the social platform. Today, though, I want to go back. I wanted to take time. I need to not necessarily confess, but I need to get this off my chest. I need to, I think, voice this out loud because it's something I'm dealing with internally. And I know if I can get it out, and maybe it will help somebody else, but it will definitely help me. Since I've been back on this journey to get into shape, lose weight, run again, I'm doing this couch to 5K. I'm actually feeling good doing a lot of these exercises, a lot of these workouts. Just yesterday, I was a little tough. I'm not going to lie. At the time of this recording, it was a tough run where it was 20 minutes straight on. Now, if you listen to my 5K time trial, you know that I was able to run almost 40 minutes there inside for a 5K. So it wasn't necessarily the time that was the problem. The fact that it was on the treadmill wasn't a problem. The problem was my legs were dead tired. Friday night, last Friday, when this is recording, was the startup of my soccer season again. It's been a couple weeks. I think the last time I played in a game was almost over a month ago because of Thanksgiving, Christmas, and stuff that I had going on. I couldn't make it to the last game of the regular season of last session. So Friday was the first game of the session. And I put myself out there. I go all out. My legs kill me after it. And we were short a guy sub. It's a co-ed soccer game. I actually had only two guy subs, and there's three guys on the field. It's an indoor, and you would think for a shorter field that your indoor would be a lot easier. It is not. It's constantly moving, running. Pretty much the only break you get is when you get to sub. The good news is it is like hockey where you can jump on, jump off with your thing. So having good communication with your teammates and knowing when they're switching on and off can definitely help. We ended up in a tie. We were down big, 4-1, 5-1, something like that. And one of our subs that we had is a good player, and he definitely helped. I had some great chances, some great looks, some great passes. I just couldn't complete it, couldn't finish it. But that's not my struggles. My struggle's been, I appreciate all the love I got on the mental health episode. Some of you guys reached out, and I appreciate it. I got a couple of you subscribed to YouTube. I appreciate it so much. I even got a new Patreon member. I appreciate it. Those small steps help so much. And I'm not necessarily struggling mentally right now. I do have my moments. But I am struggling trying to combat my weight, trying to gain strength while losing fat, but maintaining enough calories to be able to partake into these activities without completely bunking or dying, if you want to say. It has been tough, and I feel like my weight isn't moving down as I think it should. I'm counting my calories. I haven't gone into the macronutrients or micronutrients as much as the app I'm using can go into. I'm just looking at overall, do I have a calorie deficit for the day? And for most of the days, I have had a calorie deficit. Now, the problem comes into play is you got to be honest with yourself and honest on the portions that you put into the app. Now, I know that tracking any calories is better than not tracking any calories, and it makes you think a little bit more. So even if you aren't 100% accurate, um, you're you're at least thinking about it. The problem's going to be is when you have a whole pack of Oreos and you say, "Hey, that's about 100 calories only." That's not going to help you. So I always try to overestimate if I don't know if I'm making something and it doesn't have the calories listed. I always try to go extra or more. So if hey, if it's a bowl, or a cup, maybe I'll say it's 1.5 cups or maybe 2 cups even, just so that I'm trying to count more calories than I'm actually intaking. So when I do the exercises and I work out, that deficit would be like a bonus on there. Because even if it only said I had a deficit of 100, but I overshot one of my food items by 100, then it's actually a $200 calorie deficit. So that's my struggle right now is I'm not seeing the weight loss that I am expecting by the deficit that I am eating. Now, maybe it's the foods I am eating. I am trying to watch what I eat and cut back on fatty foods, especially. But that's hard. That's really hard. Just tonight we went to Buffalo Wild Wings because that's what my son wanted, and we just had a tournament, a basketball tournament, and we won. And he played excellent, so it was like a reward for him to get to pick where we want. We had a gift card and so forth. So it kind of just all went out, and I've been dying for a beer. And they had a juicy haze IPA that they don't usually have. And I love my IPAs. So I probably didn't do any good getting the tall instead of the short, but it was delicious. It was very good. But I did try to watch what am I going to eat, and not have necessarily all these fries or even the wings itself. I went out a little bit. I got their flatbread pizza, buffalo chicken pizza, which was delicious. It was good too. And that's probably where I struggle too is even when I'm making these choices of picking healthier foods, like the other night we went to this Mediterranean place. The food it's all healthy, fresh, delicious food. And I probably just ate a little bit too much. Like I had their bowl, and their bowl probably could have easily been 2.5 meals. So I just need to be smarter about that, and I had to voice that struggle that I am having, where I don't want to feel like I'm starving myself, but I also expect to lose weight when maybe I'm not making the best decisions. Maybe I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm working, I'm exercising, I'm following my Couch to 5K plan pretty religiously. Tomorrow I have to get up super early to get my run in because I will be at meetings all day and all night, and then being at a hotel over the night until Tuesday. I'm riding my bike, trying to get the time on the saddle and be able to burn some calories there, as well as strengthen up my legs for running, but also for cycling. So if you're struggling too, I get it. I completely understand. As a big guy, just starting to move is a struggle. And there, like again, yesterday, it was probably about 11 o'clock at night by the time I got to get on the treadmill, and I was struggling. I was pretty much falling asleep right before I got on the treadmill. I turned on the heaters in the garage for a little bit to just to warm it up just a tad so that it wasn't completely freezing. But so I was sitting there waiting in the warm part of our house, and I find myself falling asleep, and so I had to set Alexa alarm on there so I can make sure I got up to get on the treadmill to get it's a half an hour. It was a 10-minute walk with a 5-minute slow walk, 5-minute brisk walk, and then 20-minute nonstop. And my legs are killing me. I was dead tired, but I am so thankful and so blessed that I got it in there. But just starting, having that motivation to do it. And once you miss one day of your plan, it is so easy to miss every day. Especially if you're low self-esteem, you're like, forget it, I'm not doing it today. And then it's a month later, you're like, well, I haven't done anything in a month. Why am I feeling so crappy? Well, because you haven't done anything in a month. And I've been there. I've done that. And it's not good. And I don't like feeling that way. And so I'm trying to change that. That's part of this journey. This running my journey is documenting everything. And I want to add more into the Patreon, more insight, more heartfelt messages of where I'm at mentally, spiritually, physically. So I appreciate and thank you for those who have decided to believe in me and give to me to do what I want to do, to be part of this dream of becoming a runner and be able to share my message to those who need to hear it, to get healthy, so that my boys know that it doesn't matter how old you are or what, anything is possible. So I appreciate it. There, please, if you want to share any messages with your friends or family to help support me, part of my mission is to give it back. Part of my mission is to find people like me that are struggling to get back on track, to get there. You know, again, starting is tough, that first step. And it's not even necessarily always your very, very first step. It's that first step, maybe after you have tried every single year for the last 10 years, and you are just ready to give up and say, why should I even try one more time? I've been there. I have done that. I have suffered that and suffered by putting my next step forward. And that's why we have every step counts as our motto, as our mission, as our theme, as our mantra, whatever you want to call it, as Spare Tire Running, that every step counts. And we are appreciative and we are blessed by every step that we do get to take. You know, when I was thinking back about, this past couple of years and the struggles I had and the excuses that I made, when I broke my toe, and it was a bad break. It was in 2 spots. It was dislocated and it was displaced. So all 4 things, all in my big toe. And I needed surgery. Almost not necessarily emergency, 100% emergency surgery, but they pushed it forward and got me in as soon as possible. I have 2 pins or 2 screws in my toe right now. I will never be the same, and I'm not saying like I can't walk, as I can walk, but what I'm saying is that toe, I have to manipulate it pretty much every single day to kind of loosen it up, to get it moving, to crack it, to relieve pressure. And then when it's cold outside or the temperature changes, I can feel it. And there are days where my toe is just killing me. And so I have been scared to get back on the trails, to get back to a place where I wasn't necessarily in the best place where I was, like 2018, but I was not necessarily where I am at now. I was in a lot better place, athletically and speed and pace wise. But I was scared. It took a while and a long time for me to even try or consider getting back on the trails to run because I was so scared that I was going to fall again. And and maybe this is why when I broke my toe, it was the first time that I can ever remember actually falling down completely biting the dust, wiping out, took me to the ground. Now, I have tripped many times. I have tripped a lot. Usually I trip because being a big guy, you get tired and you don't pick your feet up enough or high enough, and you trip. And until that time, anytime I have tripped, I was able to recover, catch myself. This is the first time that I don't remember how much I weigh, but a lot. And all that weight was on my big toe forward, and my toe just snapped. So I get being scared. I get struggling to find the motivation to start and to find a routine to go. That's why I suggest, if it's not my couch to 5K, which is fine, finding somebody's couch to 5K, finding somebody that can motivate you, finding somebody that can help hold you accountable, finding somebody that can give you pointers. And I will 100% do that for you. And I know there are so many other great runners out there that just want the same thing, that people to realize that they can get out. Doesn't matter the size, doesn't matter how fast, and move and run. But having a training plan and being able to track the progress and is such a key to when you're struggling. It's such a lifesaver when you finally see not necessarily the micro view of it, but the macro view. So you got to take yourself out of the week view or even the day view on your calendar and come out to maybe a month view, or even better yet, a quarter view or a yearly view, and see the progress. It's going to take time to progress, but to go and back and take that bird eyes view of your progress is just amazing. I do try to do that even with like my YouTube channel or the podcast even. So I'm looking at, right now I'm looking at Anchor. Let me throw this up for those who are looking on YouTube, and you're going to see it real quick here. Here it's nothing great. Right now at the time of this recording, 37 plays completely, 6 plays per episode on average. Attendance size was 10, and no money because I haven't put any ads on the podcast at all. Then on the below there, they have a line graph of showing the plays, and it's pretty much every other day. It looks like at the bottom, it shows the last 30 days, and it has the ups and downs. Whatever. Let's see, what day is this? January 8th. When episode, I guess 3 came out, I had 6 total plays. I don't know how they get that because there's only 4 showing on. Well, maybe they only show the 3. Maybe I had a couple extra, but it has up and down. So I'm like, okay, and I can look in there and see, okay, episode 2 goals had 2 plays. No backstory had 1 play, which is already, that's not bad for episode 1 being a couple weeks old, that somebody went back and listened to it. and then episode 3 being the new one at that time, having a play, and then looking at, all right, then I can look at the next couple days later with 4 views, and the mental health episode 4, had 3 plays, and episode 3, so that must have been just came out too. So January 9th must have been when the episode 4 came out. But then I can look back on here. I can have a 7 days, and that if I look at my 7 days, I'm going to be kind of bummed. I'm going to be kind of down on myself, because if I look at it, I had started 7 days ago with again, for me, awesome 6 plays, and then it drops to 1, then it goes up to 4, but then it drops to 1, 1, 0, 0. So the last 2 days, I had nobody listening at all, and so that kind of defeats my purpose. Then if I look at the 90 days, which I haven't even been on podcasts for more than 90 days yet, but you can get a bigger picture of the mountains and crevices, and be able to analyze what's going on, and see a much more true picture of who you are and what you're doing. So it's unique to see, and to be able to look at the bigger picture. It helps. It definitely helps my self-esteem. Same thing with the YouTube subscriber. The couple days ago, I think I lost a subscriber, but then I gained 2 the day before and 1 the day after. I'm like, if I only look at that one day, I'm -1. But if I look at 3 days worth, I'm plus 2. And then if I look at 30 days worth, I'm plus 40 or something like that. Amazingly, so take time to look at the bigger picture, and know. And that's the same thing with your weight. Your weight's going to go up and down a little bit, and that's where I struggle. And sometimes I wonder, should I even weigh myself every day, because of knowing that struggle. And I go back and forth. Do I want to? If I feel like I ate badly, do I really want to know how much I weigh? And there are times where I do weigh myself after I feel that I ate badly for a day, and my weight maybe be even the same as the day before, or I even lost weight, and then it's like, holy cow, wow, I ate horrible and I'm still the same weight, or I even lost a pound or a half a pound or 2 pounds, whatever it is. It could really play. So you got to take a big picture and know that you're going to go up and down. So the other thing with struggling is being a bigger guy is your flexibility. And I was one that, even when I was skinny, I was 98 pounds as a freshman. If you listen to the backstory, I've always had issues being flexible, or not flexible. That's my issue, is not being flexible enough. In grade school, we had our presidential fitness challenge, for those who are old enough to know that. And I crushed everything. I was destroying people left and right in the shuttle run, the mile run, the pull-ups, and everything except for the V-sit reach. I was horrible. I sucked at it. And I did not make whatever presidential award because I could not touch my toes or go past my toes on that stupid V-sit board. I crushed everything else. I destroyed everything else. So, even a good athlete that I had my flaws. And I was not flexible. And so I need to remind myself to stretch after my runs, to foam roll, and just loosen up the body, because being bigger, being slower, I'm going to tighten up, and it's going to be harder for me to get moving. And the last thing on that is I need to also make sure I'm strength training. I have taken a step back from that because of everything else I'm doing and coaching and working 6 full-time jobs at times it seems like. But I'm looking forward to, once our basketball season's done, to start lifting weights and getting my boy back into lifting weights. As an 8th grader, he's just crushing the basketball scene. I am so proud of him. He's such an amazing athlete. My whole team is great. My starting five, I will put my starting five up against any middle school starting five in the country, 100%. We may not destroy teams like we should. Sometimes they get frustrated, but if you're going to beat us, you better be good. You better be amazing. And we only lost one game so far this year. It was in a big tournament, and my son was already injured coming into the tournament. He kind of had a back issue, sore back, pulled his muscle, and so forth that we were trying to work through. And in the championship game, he got fouled hard and went down to the ground on his shooting wrist and so forth. So he couldn't even dribble or shoot with his wrist, but he was still one of the most dominant players on the court. He just couldn't get it done. And I mean, I give the other team all the credit in the world. They had a kid that was 6 feet tall, 280 pounds. Just a huge kid that he destroyed it. Like, watching him play, and I've seen him play for a couple of years. He's been in some basketball camps that my son has been at. And in the first game, he was in foul trouble. He got in foul trouble a lot. This game, he did not get, I don't think he had one foul at all. He was playing good enough not to get called, and we just couldn't stop him. He totally destroyed us. So that's our only loss. We are looking at the time of this recording, going into our last regular season game, looking for the W, looking for a regular season title. First time since 2018, I think it is. It was the last time we won the regular season title. We're looking for a tournament title. We just won a tournament this past weekend when this was recorded, against some good schools. I was very proud of the way our team worked and stuck it out and was able to be smart enough when things started going against us and things weren't falling for us and they started falling for the other team. But we got a huge game Tuesday, a tournament coming up, and then we're hoping that our record and playing style will allow us to be invited to our state meet and our national meet. And it's been 10 years since our school has had a team go to the nationals, and that's a huge accomplishment. And if we can do it, it would be kind of neat that the last school team they got from our school that got to go in 10 years ago, my cousin was on that team, and my cousin was the lead star player for that team. And now this year, as an 8th grader, my son is our point guard, our captain, the heart of our team. He's so humble at times, and I'm taking some time to brag here before I finish up this podcast. He's been dribbling between his legs or behind his back, left and right, since 3rd grade, just destroying people. Last summer, he played with varsity high school kids and against some of the top kids in the state of Michigan at these tournaments and held his own. I mean, he's small compared to like a senior, which, that just takes time and lifting and so forth. But skill-wise, vision of the court, knowing his X's and O's, amazing. This kid, look him up, Burke Basketball. It might be even Burke_basketball on Instagram. Watch some of his reels. He has a YouTube channel too. Subscribe to it. But if you want to see a kid that has heart and to be able to drive the ball and get the calls, N1s, and so forth. It's just amazing. So, but this is not a podcast about my son. This is about my journey and my struggles is the episode today. So nutrition, pushing it forward, finding a plan, and keep moving forward. So if you're struggling, I feel you. If you're struggling, I hear you. If you're struggling, I know what you're going through. Even if it's not running related. I struggle daily. I have my professional struggles as much as anybody else. I have, relationship troubles that I have to work through just like anybody else. I have my running struggles, my lifting struggles. Everything can be a struggle if we let our demons win. So let's conquer our demons together. Let's go forward and do this together jointly. Be able to move forward and tell people to back the hell up because we're coming through. So thank you guys for listening to this podcast. Again, reach out, spare_tire_running on Instagram, spare tire run on Twitter, or you can look me up at sparetirerunning.com. My email is even sparetirerunning@gmail.com. So thank you guys for a great episode. I am enjoying this, and it is therapeutic for me to be able to voice my struggles, to voice my thoughts, and get them out to you. Again, let's talk. Let's do this together. Have a great one. Later.